Debbyites, we are back for another slugfest to discuss the one and only Oscars that are coming up just around the corner. People are so excited. There are so many people who are talking about what's going to win this and what's going to win that. And today I am so fortunate to have two of our new freelancers who have recently joined the Gold Derby team. I'm very proud to introduce Ebenezer Ayoko and Tsang. Both of whom are really excellent writers who are really fascinated about the Oscars and the Emmys and all the other awards that all of us nerds are obsessed about. It just goes to show, guys, if you are really interested in writing about film and TV and you want to maybe submit something for Gold Derby, send me a DM and I'm happy to have a look at it. And perhaps maybe you might be joining a team of freelancers just like Ebenezer and Chris have. So, guys, I'm really happy to have you on board. And I'm really, really excited to know what you guys think about the Oscars coming up, because there's so many races, so many categories that are just completely up in the air, which is kind of frustrating for people who want to predict these things and get them right. But it's also really interesting, and it makes this race kind of fun to follow until the very last moment on Oscar night. So I'm going to go to you first, Ebenezer, because with Best Picture, there are a few films who have kind of risen to the top that appear to be in contention for winning that Best Picture Oscar. Where are you headed at the moment? What do you think at this stage? We're pre-DGA, and Critics' Choice this weekend. So there's still a few things to happen. But at the moment, if you had to say this is winning Best Picture, what would you go with and why?
At the moment, and once again, I want to thank you, Rob, for inviting us on this live stream. At the moment, I'm going to say The Power of the Dog reigns supreme at the end of the day. I think about this season and how there are so many things that are similar to last season. And when I think about it, it's just like, we don't usually say, oh, just because something happens last year doesn't mean it's going to happen again this year. Mm-hmm. This feels like a year where a lot of things that have been happening last year is happening again this year. And I feel like The Power of the Dog has been going on a Nomadland level trajectory. Granted, it could change in these coming weeks with Critics' Choice and PGA and BAFTA. But for right now, Power of the Dog, with all of its nominations and all of its wins, has proven to be a very undeniable juggernaut. And I'm just predicting right now that that'll continue all the way to the Oscars.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to be kind of on your side here because it's been so strong in all these precursors, and it does have a lot of support. But Chris, you're not so sure, and I guess you're waiting for the tea leaves to start to settle before you'll make that final call. But if you had to say right now, where are you headed, Chris?
This is tough because I don't want to I feel like a lot of us fall into the trap of, the film with the most nominations at the Oscars like wins Best Picture. But I think I'm currently predicting Power of the Dog, but because of the extra nominations it got with production design and sound. But honestly, I am just waiting for PGA to see what they do. Whatever PGA goes for is who I will predict. Because I think Power of the Dog is easily going to win Critics' Choice. It has a shot at BAFTA. And yeah, Jane Campion's practically a lock for DGA. So I'm just waiting. So.
And explain to us most of us know where you're headed with this argument, but explain why you think and why you argue that PGA is so important.
Well, I think most of us know that PGA is, the way PGA works is operated on a preferential ballot, the same as the Oscars. And so it's all about like, not only which films have the most passion, but which film like is like the least divided. And there are people that think that are not as passionate about Power of the Dog. And is it enough? I don't know. It could be, it could not be, but it's definitely like people have opinions about that movie, whether they like it or strongly dislike it. So it's a very like it's hard to like find that balance between, is that enough for it to win?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that as well. Like, you both make such great points. I think with Power of the Dog, and which, by the way, I just absolutely adore that movie. I think it was like the number 3 of the year. It seems a bit divisive. Like, all the Sam Elliott's, who Anne Thompson, the wonderful Anne Thompson from IndieWire, has coined the steak eaters of the Academy. They probably didn't love Power of the Dog as much as people like us, you know, in the film Twitter bubble, and, you know, critics and people like that who really loved the film. It's a different film. It's got this queer aspect that some of the steak eaters probably aren't going to take to, unfortunately. And so, yeah, it is divisive. So because of that, and because for the preferential ballot, these films need to rise up to the top pretty quickly with their number 1, number 2, and perhaps number 3 votes. I have a feeling that we could be seeing a Coda resurgency. And at the moment, like, it seems that Coda has a lot of the heat in this stage of the race. It's come off that SAG ensemble win. It's just, people seem to really love it. And the Coda people, the 3 nominees, they're really hitting the ground running and not campaigning, but getting themselves out there for a small little film that could, from Apple Original Films. So I'm at the moment predicting Coda, but I'm a bit skeptical. And as soon as we get the PGA results, because I agree, I think DGA will go with Jane Campion. Thank God, because I've been waiting for her to win a Best Director award ever since The Piano, when she was beaten by, you know, the amazing Steven Spielberg. So interesting that they're both in the same category again. And also BAFTA seems like a Power of the Dog win as well. I agree there too. So Ebenezer, what do you think, if there's going to be another film that you think, you know, we should look out for? I say it's Coda. Do you think there's anything else that could possibly give Power of the Dog a run for its money?
Yeah, Coda is definitely one of them. I would say King Richard could be another, because it's an immense crowd pleaser, and it's a very easy movie to watch. It's very digestible, and it's just a movie that's very easy to get behind. I can also see a world where Belfast maybe could still have a second life, even though it's been getting a little, you know, kind of karate chopped over the past few weeks. But yeah, I would say those movies would be the ones to take Power of the Dog.
Chris, I think you mentioned offline that you think Belfast is a film that is possibly in the running. What do you think about Belfast?
It's funny because there's so many people that hate Belfast on Twitter, and it hasn't even won anything. Like, the most it won was, I think, a Globe for Branagh for screenplay. I agree. Belfast and I don't think King Richard is going home empty-handed. And Belfast can easily pull a spotlight if Branagh wins screenplay, which is probably like its only shot. Because it's funny, because I think all the nominations that Belfast missed, it made up for, in my opinion, in categories where I didn't think it would get, like sound and song, at the expense of editing and cinematography, if people were predicting that. I'm not sure if that's enough. It could be, I'm not sure. I mean, but I see a path for it. Coda, I'm not too certain, for the sole reason is just it didn't get any tech categories. And I think all that love, they are really campaigning their hearts out. And I think all that love will easily like go to Troy Kotzer, which is like the best, you know, is pretty much the talking point of that movie. And his SAG win is easily like created that path and momentum for him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Sian Heder, she might even win adapted screenplay. It's possible. You know, with Belfast, I'm not quite sure why there's been this little perceived backlash against it. But I totally agree that with Una Ganila not getting her editing nomination that most of us expected, and I think particularly not having Katrina Balfe in supporting actress is a little telling for me. It feels like that film doesn't have the support that some of the other films have. Also, I was thinking having the whole cast, the main cast of Power of the Dog nominated is also quite telling that it is actually very popular with the Academy, particularly the actors, the largest branch. So yeah, there is a lot to think about in Best Picture. It's so exciting. So let's see what happens after all these other precursors, and that will solidify where everyone is headed in terms of their predictions. But I want to move on to something else that is giving me a lot of heartburn, and that is Best Actress. I don't know what the hell to think, because I tell you what, the day before the nominations came out, I was saying very loudly, this is Lady Gaga's to lose. She's going to win. She's the best. And then she doesn't even get nominated. So I'm still getting over that. And now we have Nicole Kidman, who won the Globe, which is probably not that important these days, but it's still something to think about. Jessica Chastain won the SAG. That's a huge, huge boost for her. And then, Kristen Stewart, she's missed out so many times, but I think we discounted her chances, because I think the Academy still thought her performance was good enough to be nominated, and I'm still predicting her to win. I have no reason why. I just have a feeling she's going to do a Marcia Gay Harden. So I am really torn about Best Actress. So do either of you guys have a clue about what's going on in Best Actress? Who would like to go first?
It's just like how I said before, how things are happening this season that are just that, like last season, are very similar. Like last season, the Best Actress race was crazy. Now we have another crazy Best Actress race. It's like we're just being fed with craziness, but it's fun. It's fun. I currently have Chastain predicted to win the Oscar, because spoilers, I have Chastain predicted to win Critics' Choice, but it's not like I know. It's not like any of us really know what's going on or anything like that. I just thought maybe Iron Lady-ish kind of thing could happen, but I'm fully aware that there are other contenders are definitely in the running, and that we really shouldn't count them out, even if they seem like they have less of a chance. Like I just figured that Chastain would win SAG and Critics' Choice, which were the same two precursors, which were the precursors that Meryl Streep didn't win when she won for the Iron Lady. She won Golden Globe and BAFTA, but Chastain could win SAG and Critics' Choice to, make up for that.
What's so frustrating is BAFTA is not going to help us at all this year, which is insane at all.
No.
It's not there's 0 of them. And
that's fun.
It's fun. Who's the fifth one that I haven't mentioned yet in Best Actress? So it's Chastain, Kidman,
Cruz.
Stewart. Oh, yes, that's right. So, Chris, what do you think? No one has a clue about Best Actress, but where are you headed right now?
Yeah, I can go on for hours for this category. I'm not surprised Chastain won SAG, because since the expansion of AFTRA, they really go for the, the Beatty, transformative performance, with the makeup and everything. That said, I do have her winning Critics' Choice for this. And just performance aside, which is wonderful. I think Critics' Choice has shown with the nominations that they just pretty much want to predict the Oscars, and so they want to follow like what's popular at the moment, and they will do that as like a response to like her SAG win. As far as the Oscars go, I personally cannot see Tammy Faye winning both of its nominations. And as far as the Academy, I'm not sure how much of that, especially the international body going for that movie, if it would solely be on in a category like that is this wide open. I think it's really comes down to like the passion of the performance. And that could be for Kristen Stewart. I really want Penelope Cruz to win because I think she does give the best, and that would be a true Marcia Gay Harden scenario if that were to happen.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, Parallel Mothers has 3 nominations because if it wasn't for Spain, it would easily be in the Best International Film category, which is the closest to a Best Picture category, even though I know that's not the same. But I currently, I don't know who I have. I have I will predict Chastain to win Critics' Choice. I know, but I'm not sure about the Oscar. I may predict Cruz. We'll see. It really comes down to maybe how those anonymous ballots like play out. But the last thing I'll say is, even though I am really interested to see what BAFTA votes for an actress, only because there's a lot of talk about like, you know, whether it could be like Renata Reinsva for the worst person in the world, or if it's Lady Gaga or Haim. But BAFTA does have the largest international voting bloc, and it has more overlap with the Oscars than SAG. So even though they really bombed on that category with nominations, they do have to vote for someone in that category. And so if Renata Reinsva wins, and the whole with the whole BAFTA membership going for that performance, or the majority of it, that at least shows that they're open to like awarding international performances, which could very bode well for Cruz, in my opinion. But yeah, I have no idea what to do. I want Kristen Stewart to win Critics' Choice. I don't know if that's going to happen because, you know, the Critics' Choice, again, I think they pretty much, with the nominations, they pretty much copied and pasted from Gold Derby. And their nominations were announced back in December without not knowing that their ceremony was going to be like this late. So they picked a lot of films that, you know, were already seen. They didn't pick a lot of late releases. So yeah, I'm really not sure. This will definitely be a category that I will not know until Oscar night. So
it's a head scratcher. But I think that's a good point. With no disrespect to the Critics' Choice membership, many of whom I'm very good friends with, but they often want to try to be Oscar predictors and not reward films and performances that they truly thought were the best. And that's one of the criticisms about that group. But, you know, that's just an argument. I was thinking, like, if Kristen Stewart wins, we will, you know, just think about the post-mortem. If she wins, I think people will say international membership, making up for the fact that she kind of missed a few of the precursors, and passion, I guess, for that film amongst the actors, maybe. And if Penelope Cruz wins, it'll be what you said, Chris, is so important. Parallel Mothers did pretty well at the Oscars. It got that score nomination. It got her in. And what was the third one again? I can't even remember.
It was just
2, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of telling. If Nicole Kidman wins, people will point to the Golden Globe, and also because she's so popular, and also being the Ricardos got those other 2 acting nominations, which means it was pretty popular amongst the actors. If Olivia Colman gets in, it'll just be because, you know, people seem to really like that movie. Maggie Gyllenhaal's been winning left, right, and center. She only lost, if she loses adapted screenplay, she only lost that because it was a tight race. Like, I can imagine what all the post-mortem arguments will be. Jessica Chastain seems to be the safest bet because of the SAG win, and because she's so overdue as far as I'm concerned. She should have won by now. So, you know, I think you all make really excellent points. Now, before we go, we should just briefly talk about Best Actor, because that is actually not as locked in as I thought it would be. Like, I really thought this whole time it was Will Smith and that's it. But I think there's still some argument. I don't think Javier Bardem or Denzel Washington have shot here. But I do think that Benedict Cumberbatch and Andrew Garfield absolutely do have a shot. And I think it's a 3-way race. Ebenezer, what do you think?
As for, Javier and Denzel, they're happy to be nominated. And like, when we hear about like Denzel and how much he's just enjoying, you know, the campaign trail, he's just happy to be there. He's having fun. Andrew Garfield, I would have been more confident about him if there were two things that happened. Number one, if Tick Tick Boom got into picture, which it didn't. I feel like Nightmare Alley took its spot, and I feel like that movie or other movies were like number 11 or so in picture. I love that movie, so I was sad that it missed. And then number two, he had a really good chance of winning at the SAG, and he still lost to Will Smith. So that kind of shows that Will Smith is very, very strong in that category. But I will admit that he does have competition in the form of Benedict Cumberbatch. And so it seems likely that Cumberbatch would win BAFTA because he's British and he's giving a great performance. And while I don't want to make a direct comparison to last year's Anthony Hopkins and Chadwick Boseman fiasco, it was supposed to be a fiasco, but yeah, that's what happened. I don't want to do that necessarily. It's really just the strength of the Power of the Dog as a movie itself that could propel one of its actors to a victory. Because over the past 20 years, I guess, of the Oscars, well, as far as I'm concerned, over the past 20 years of the Oscars or so, I've noticed that Best Picture winners usually either win an acting award or they win SAG Ensemble. And there's only a couple movies in history this millennium that haven't done that. I think The Departed was one of them, The Hurt Locker. I think The Shape of Water was one that didn't even get nominated for SAG Ensemble. And it still managed to eke out a victory even without any acting wins. And The Power of the Dog could easily be one of those films where it doesn't get nominated, where it's not nominated at SAG Ensemble, right? And it might not win acting awards, but it still wins Best Picture. If there is an actor from The Power of the Dog to win, if it's not Cody, then I do think it's Benedict. I think he still has a legitimate shot at winning. I'm not currently predicting that. I'm actually currently predicting a Will Smith sweep, if that's even a thing. And so, just to see if because I think the BAFTAs kind of, I don't want to say they over-nominated King Richard, but King Richard did a little bit better than we expected it to. And so I wonder if King Richard is going to walk away with something at the BAFTAs of all places. But I do definitely see the argument for Benedict Cumberbatch swooping in at the last minute and taking away Will Smith's Oscar. I would like to point out two things. One thing I would like to point something out. And I'd like to bring to your attention the TIFF Tribute Award. If y'all have ever heard about that. I've noticed that over the past 2 years, the TIFF Tribute Award for Actor, the Toronto International Film Festival, that's what the TIFF stands for. The TIFF Tribute Award for Actor has lined up with Oscar winners for this category, Best Actor. In 2019, Joaquin Phoenix won the TIFF Tribute Award for Actor, and then he won the Oscar. And then 2020, Anthony Hopkins won the TIFF Tribute Award for Actor, and then he went on to win the Oscar. 2021, 2021, this year, or last year, I should say, 2021 TIFF Tribute Award for Actor went to Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog. So that's something interesting to note. But also for TIFF Tribute Award for Best Actress 2021, that went to Jessica Chastain for her body of work, and that kind of it's kind of making me think. I don't want to assume that that's like the key to them winning, but it does make me think about the race a little bit more and to see what the possibilities are.
That's fascinating. I like that. Power of the Dog is not going to win any acting awards unless Benedict can squeeze this one out, because I think Troy Kotzer's got this now, and Ariana DeBose is a lock, in my opinion. I think you guys agree.
Yep.
So that's a tough one, and I think we could see an upset. Like the Anthony Hopkins thing, I was willing it to happen, and I love Chadwick Boseman, don't get me wrong, but I just thought Anthony Hopkins was so wonderful in The Father. I really wish the Oscar producers last year didn't screw that up so badly and make it the last award. But let's forget that. We're going to see Anthony Hopkins on the show this year, and he'll get his moment, thank God. But I totally think that we could see a last-minute shift to Benedict when people just want to just give him the award, because he's kind of slightly overdue. But I mean, Will Smith is really like such a big star, and he's given so many wonderful performances, and so I'd be happy to see him win as well. And when he cried at the SAGs, I just thought, what a beautiful moment.
It's definitely his year. That's been the talk of the season. It's been his year. I wonder, though, if like narrative, the narrative that Troy Kotzer has had this year is definitely working in his favor right now. I do wonder if sometimes like narratives can work for some actors and sometimes narrative doesn't work for other actors, because the Oscars, just decide to do their own thing. Yeah.
Chris, so final thoughts on Best Actor are with you after all that discussion, because now I'm just completely confused. Where are you headed at the moment for Best Actor?
I do agree that Benedict Cumberbatch can give Will Smith a run for his money. And I do wonder, like, this is me working backwards, I do wonder if Power of the Dog does win Best Picture, what else is it going to win besides Jane Campion? Like maybe adapted screenplay. I don't see it winning any of its text, even though some people say it might have a shot in cinematography. I don't really buy that, but but at the same time, King Richard has had like such an uphill trajectory with its surprise Ace Award, and to the point where I don't think it's going to go home empty-handed. And Will Smith is pretty much the talking point of that movie, and probably has the best shot of that. I am considering switching Will Smith to winning the BAFTA, because of first of all, Will Smith is just an absolute charmer in like wherever he goes. And so and it does make me, if Benedict does win BAFTA, then that's definitely something to really think about going forward. And it also, I guess it depends on what else Power of the Dog wins. But right now I have Will Smith. I see no reason to take him out right now. And as like he said, King Richard did very decently well at the BAFTAs, and it's just something that I'm gonna wait and see. But if gun to my head, like 95 to 5 is Will Smith.
You know what? After you guys have just been talking about this, I'm going to switch Will Smith on my BAFTA predictions. I think he's going to take it. And then if he does, then just watch out. He's SAG and BAFTA. Critics' Choice, who knows what the hell's going to happen? We'll see soon. I think
he's winning. He's winning.
I feel a little bit more confident about Will Smith winning Critics' Choice than I do with BAFTA.
Yeah, maybe we're overthinking Best Actor a little, and this is Will Smith's time. Yeah, I think this was a very useful conversation, and I'm really glad we had it, because I think I'm going to switch now and just stop overthinking Best Actor. Best Actress is a complete cluster F, and Best Picture, who the hell knows? Troy Kotzer and Ariana DeBose, we all agree. I think they're pretty much in front. But although I just keep having this vision in my head of Best Supporting Actress, someone else taking it, and then just seeing Ariana DeBose's devastated face, because she's obviously being told, and she can see that she's in front, and then it could be taken away from her. So let's hope
this is despite the criticism of West Side Story. So if she can still win despite all that, then she has it in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we've run out of time. I really thank you both for your time today, joining me and having this really good discussion about the Oscars. I look forward to more articles from you guys. Gold Derby, you're both really excellent writers. And everybody else, please don't forget, stick with Gold Derby. This is where it's all happening. Make sure your predictions are up to date. Make sure you're participating in our forums. Tweet us, DM me, whatever you want. But the more conversation we have, the better, because we're just big film nerds. And at the end of the day, this is all just for lots of fun. And guys, have a great day and see you next time.
Thanks, Rob.
Shalom.